My ambitious and responsible Capricorn friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Capricorn, this week arrives with a subtle tension you've likely carried for a while now. It's the kind of restlessness that comes from knowing you're capable of more, yet feeling the weight of your own expectations. There's a quiet ache in wanting to move forward, but also a worry that the world isn't quite ready for the force of your momentum. You might notice yourself planning things in your mind, rehearsing conversations, or replaying recent moments, each one tinged with the question, am I moving fast enough or am I missing something essential? In the stillness of your evenings, you may find yourself searching for a sign, a reason, or simply permission to let your voice be heard. Underneath, there's a current of impatience, a desire to cut through the fog and step into clarity. But the cost of clarity is vulnerability, and that knowledge lingers in your chest, making each decision feel just a little heavier than it should. There's no need to judge this tension. It's simply a sign that you care deeply about your path, your impact, and the possibility of living more fully in your own truth. The Knight of Swords steps into your week as a mirror for this internal state. There's a pressing urge to act, to speak up, to make your intentions clear. Yet it's not always easy to harness this energy with grace. You might find yourself caught between bursts of decisiveness and sudden second-guessing. There's a sharpness in your thinking now, a clarity that can feel both liberating and isolating. You may notice a tendency to mentally race ahead, mapping out scenarios, strategizing outcomes, or even rehearsing difficult conversations long before they happen. It's as if your mind is always a few steps ahead of your body, pulling you along with its urgency. This can be exhilarating in short bursts, but exhausting when it doesn't let up. You might sense impatience with yourself or others, especially if things aren't moving at the pace you'd hoped. There's a temptation to push through resistance, to cut straight to the heart of matters, even if it means ruffling a few feathers along the way. And yet, beneath the surface bravado, there's a softer longing to be understood, to be met with equal honesty, to not have to carry the full weight of your convictions alone. It's a week where you may feel both more courageous and more exposed. The drive to speak your mind is strong, but so is the need for reassurance that you won't be left standing alone in your truth. You might notice flashes of frustration at delays, misunderstandings, or the sense that others just aren't keeping up with your vision. But all of this comes from the same place, a deep commitment to living authentically, even if it means taking risks or facing discomfort. There's a beauty in your willingness to move forward, to cut through pretense, and to trust your own insight. Let yourself feel both the fierceness and the tenderness of this state. Both belong to you. What happens when this restless clarity meets the circumstances of your days? The energy inside you inevitably shapes the path unfolding before you. When you bring forward such intensity and sharpness, the world responds in kind, sometimes with opportunities, sometimes with friction. The desire to act, to make things happen, can stir up old doubts or awaken unexpected resistance from others. But it's also what draws new doors into view, even if they are not quite the ones you expected. Against this backdrop, the star emerges as the guiding light on your path. There is a sense of renewal in the air, but it does not arrive without a reckoning. You may feel the tug between hope and hesitation, as if you're standing at the edge of possibility and wondering if it's safe to step forward. Events this week could highlight both your aspirations and your vulnerabilities, offering moments of clarity, but also exposing where you still feel unsure. The pressure to maintain your momentum may clash with the need for rest or reflection. You might notice a longing for reassurance, for a glimpse of what's possible beyond the noise of daily obligations. There could be friction in relationships, especially if others sense your urgency but don't fully understand its source. Yet within this tension there is also a quiet promise that even small acts of honesty can create ripples of change. The momentum you feel isn't a call to perfection, but an invitation to trust in a process that unfolds one step at a time. In the midst of active pressures, deadlines, decisions, or emotional crossroads, you may find unexpected moments of peace, brief pauses where hope seeps in around the edges. These flashes of inspiration are not accidental. They arise precisely because you have dared to move beyond your comfort zone. The friction itself is a sign that you're alive to possibility, open to being changed by your own courage. Even when the way forward feels unclear, there is a current carrying you toward greater honesty with yourself and others. Let yourself notice where that current shows up, in quiet conversations, in sudden insights, or in the simple act of pausing long enough to listen to your own heart. Of course, the path alone is not enough. What becomes possible depends on how you choose to meet these moments. It is not enough to simply keep moving forward. Something deeper is being asked of you now. The potential of this week hinges on your willingness to engage consciously with all that you feel, both the drive and the doubt. If you simply let the days carry you along, you risk missing the quiet invitations hidden inside the noise. But if you pause even briefly, you open the door to something more enduring and nourishing. When you meet this week with open eyes and a willing heart, the Ten of Wands reveals what growth may look like. There is a sense of carrying much, responsibility, expectation, perhaps even the weight of unfulfilled dreams. Yet within this heaviness lies the possibility of transformation. Growth in this context is not about doing more or pushing harder. It's about recognizing which burdens are truly yours to carry and which you've taken on out of habit or obligation. The invitation here is gentle, to notice the difference between effort that drains you and effort that feels meaningful. There may be moments when you realize you've been holding onto old stories or trying to prove something that no longer needs proving. The process of growth now is subtle, almost tender. It asks you to honor your limits, to let go of what you no longer need, and to trust that your worth is not measured by how much you can shoulder. There is a quiet strength in admitting when you're tired, in asking for help, or in simply laying something down for a while. The possibility before you is not a grand triumph, but a gradual return to balance, a sense that you can move forward with less strain and more authenticity. You are invited to discover how lightness can coexist with responsibility, how honesty can soften the weight you carry. There's no promise of ease, only the assurance that you are allowed to make space for yourself in the midst of everything else. When you look back on this week, you may notice how each part of the journey, your restless clarity, your longing for hope, and your willingness to examine what you carry, has shaped the days in ways that matter. The Knight of Swords gave voice to your urgency, making it impossible to ignore what needs to be said or done. The Star offered a glimmer of renewal, reminding you that even in the midst of pressure, there is always the possibility of inspiration and healing. The Ten of Wands illuminated the hidden cost of carrying too much, but also pointed the way toward a gentler, more honest relationship with your own effort. Together, these energies invite you to recognize the complexity of your experience, not as a problem to be solved, but as a landscape to be explored. You are allowed to feel both driven and uncertain, both hopeful and weary. There is room for all of it. In the quiet moments at the end of the week, you may find a new sense of acceptance settling in, a recognition that you do not have to do everything alone, nor rush to reach every goal. Your worth is not measured by the speed of your progress, but by your willingness to meet each moment with honesty and care. Let yourself rest in that knowledge. There is nothing to force or fix, only the steady unfolding of your own truth day by day. Actionable insights for Capricorn this week. Let yourself notice when you're pushing too hard and gently pause for a breath. Try giving words to a feeling you've kept to yourself, even if it feels small. Allow yourself to ask for help, just once, in a moment that feels heavy. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. My voice matters. In every quiet room I can hold my determination. Without rushing myself, it's safe to set down what I no longer need. I move forward with honesty and quiet strength. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.